Hey guys, this is Sarah at Herding Little Cows. If you don't know who we are a family with 8 children, oldest one being out of the house, youngest one still in utero for a few more weeks. So we have 6 children here at home, and we've been having a lot of questions asked recently of what we use for homeschool curriculum and how we do our homeschool. So I'm going to just answer today briefly on how we do school with some of the youngest children. The youngest not in utero is 2, so we just try to keep him busy and not getting into trouble while we're doing schooling. So we'll give him paper and let him color alongside us or give him a puzzle. But this is about the 4-year-old Abigail, who is rather interested in school. She's like my other girls have been, where they want to sit down and they want to fill out papers, they want workbooks. They're very interested. And my 7-year-old Josiah, who has been like my boys, who want to keep running and playing in the dirt and doing all of those things. For various reasons, we did not start formal schooling with Josiah. We've been doing things, but in Maine, we don't have to start formal paperwork until 7. So Josiah has just turned 7. I now have to do formal paperwork for him for the state. And so while he's already been doing some school stuff all these years, I have combined Abigail and Josiah in most of our school subjects, and I'll show you how I add to Josiah's. But the 4-year-old and the 7-year-old are doing schoolwork together. For people who don't know, Josiah has cerebral palsy that affects his left hand, and he also has epilepsy from that cerebral palsy. So he has seizures, and that causes some confusion, and so we don't push things. I don't want to push him in school because I don't know exactly if he's going to have any learning disabilities associated with the brain damage he has from the cerebral palsy. He had a stroke in utero, they think, and the one side of his brain is much smaller than the other and is mostly white scar tissue. So I don't know, we haven't had a problem with learning to read yet. We haven't had a problem with numbers yet, but I know that that could happen. So we're just slowly and steadily working through what he is comfortable with. So I have my list of what I want to accomplish with the kids every day. I will be very honest, this list does not get fully finished every day. And there are things that we will be adding as it comes winter time, while we're home with the new baby and we're in the house because of all the snow. In the summer, our school days tend to be 2-3-ish hours long. In the winter, we sometimes might work on school for 6 to 8 hours, not sitting down writing, but learning things during that whole time. While we're stuck in the house and don't have the ability to go outside and ride bikes. Kids learn a lot just through play. So I'm not discounting the play that they do in the summer at the beach or at the playground. It's just a different type of learning we do in the winter when we're stuck at home. So for the littles, the first thing we do with Josiah is we do a program called Extra Math. It is free, it is on the computer, and it's about 10 minutes of math work a day. It's like math flashcards. So they'll present a problem on the screen and you answer it as fast as you can. It keeps track of which answers they knew quickly, which answers they were able to come up with if they had enough time, and which answers they got wrong. You can watch their progress. With Josiah, I sit next to him and do them right now. He's just learning his addition with 0s, 1s, and 2s, but you can set the program to be at your child's level. So he gets asked questions that are harder for him, but most of the questions for like the practicing and stuff, they'll go back and keep repeating the question until you get the answer right. So you can look into that. It's X, the letter X, TRA math.com, I'm pretty sure, and it's free to sign up. And you can set each kid at their own level. So Virginia is no longer doing this because she knows all of her addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division times tables within, I think, 1.5 or 2 seconds. You can do it, like, shorten the time. The other kids all do this daily. So Josiah does that. Then together we do handwriting with the littles. So how I set up handwriting for Josiah is I will write on kindergarten paper, which you can get at Walmart or any office supply store. I write the text that I want him to write and then leave a line for him to be able to write under my writing. Jesus is God. I make sure I leave plenty of space. So like I probably would only maybe add one more word if I was going to write a longer phrase on here because his letters tend to be bigger. But then he can follow along. We usually would write a whole Bible verse, which sometimes takes up both sides of the paper. I was just writing something short to show you guys what we do. And then for Abigail, who also does handwriting at this time, I'd give her her own piece of paper, but I would have used highlighter, and she would trace directly over my letters to write her whole verse, which again, may be front and back. If it's a really long verse or quote, we would break it down into 2 days. Okay, just do the front part or whatever. But this is how we do handwriting in our house. It's expensive to continue printing all the time on a printer, and there are workbooks you can buy and stuff, but I like being able to put Bible verses and godly things on the paper rather than just Bible quotes. So we do handwriting together. Another thing we do together, not every day, but we do calendar work. The kids are learning the months of the year and the days of the week, just being able to memorize those. So probably 3 or 4 days a week, we point on the calendar, okay, what's today, what was yesterday, just to give them a sense of how the calendar works and how time works. We do piggy math every day. This is their favorite. This is from Master Books, and we recently got it. So I said we're doing this with a 7 and an advanced 4-year-old. This is the first grade book. They now have just come out with a kindergarten book. I have not seen that one, so I can't give a review for it, but what I've seen looks good, but I don't have that copy. These guys have worked through this fast. So we've only had this book for about 3 or 4 months, and we're actually up to week 22 or something, because some days we do more than one lesson. They've really, really enjoyed it. But this is meant to be a consumable workbook. I bought one and use it between the 2 of them, and we use handwriting paper to practice writing our numbers. Or this was just something else I had. Someone had given me this. This is from Kumon, Kumon, has some really great workbooks. I haven't purchased them, but somebody had given me this, and so we use this to practice our handwriting on because I happen to have this, so I don't write it in the book. As we talk about other ones, I'll show you the other levels of this piggy math. But what we really like about the piggy math is every week starts with a story, and so you learn why you're learning this math concept. So I'm not sure if it's this one. Yes, they're going to help Grandma at the farmer's market, and they need to help put the flowers in groups of 10, and then how to count by 10. So why you would need to learn to count by 10s. It goes through counting by 5s. It's basic addition. Fun little story that starts the week, and then work for each day to show that they've learned the lesson that's being taught. After that, we work on reading. So with all of my kids so far, with homeschooling, you have to be ready to drop a curriculum if it's not going to work for your child. There's lots of people who put a lot of money into something and then decide, I just have to continue this curriculum because I bought it and it takes a lot of money, and it might not be the way your kid learns. So like extra math, the piggy math, this is our first year using it. I don't know if it would have worked with my others at this young of an age, but this has worked for all my kids for reading. I know there's other great programs out there. I will change things if it doesn't work for one of them. But Alphaphonics, it's an old book. It's used both for, you can use it to teach reading at a very young age, or you can use it for a remedial reader, for someone who's struggling with dyslexia and problems like that. So this came in a notebook, someone who's put it in here. But it starts with the very basics. You're learning about 6 letters on the first day and learning to make those words. But then you quickly learn how to make a whole lot of words. And so the kids feel very accomplished because they're reading very fast. There's even sentences that they learn to read on day 6 of this reading plan. I really like that because there's a lot of programs where kids have learned all their letters and they don't actually know how to read. And so there's not really that concept of we're learning these letters so we can learn to read. And it goes all the way up through, I think, a 2nd grade or 3rd grade reading level. So I have really enjoyed this book. Again, it's Alphaphonics by Samuel Blumenfeld, if anyone's looking for that. So with Josiah every day, we go through a lesson, or we just practice on letters and words that he already knows. Abigail has not quite learned the concept at 4. She can't quite blend the sounds. She knows how to make each sound, but she can't quite put them into a word yet. So we just work on letter practice for her, or we'll just work on one little word, not pushing her through this book, as she's not quite ready. She knows all her letter sounds, but she doesn't quite know how to put them together yet. So we do alphaphonics. Again, not all of this happens every day. We really try. A lot of this will happen as we get into the things I have said happen every day, but the things that I'm going to be saying are going to, some will be added as we get into the winter. So another thing we do every day, or try to do every day, is Catechism. I have another video on Catechism, and I'll see if Mark can link it in the video to give you more about this book. But it shows you, this is the age 2 through grade 4, and it gives you Bible verses for the kids to learn at different ages, songs for the kids to learn at different ages that are actually theologically sound, not just little kid songs, and catechism questions. So I'm just going to flip open and read a question. What is justification? It is God regarding sinners as if they had never sinned and granting them righteousness. So it's just a good way to teach a lot of biblical truth in very short little statements. We're working through this with all of the kids. Actually did this morning. The older girls are doing their own levels, and we will show you that when we do their videos. But this is something we try to get in every day. We do Bible as a family, Monday through Friday, and then sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays. Our church is doing a Bible reading plan that is a 5-day a week. We read one chapter from the New Testament. So we all sit down, we read the verses. The little ones, I say the verse and they repeat it, so just phrase by phrase. And then we probably spend about an hour over the course of time between reading it and talking about that. And we're also trying to incorporate learning a hymn every week. So we have done this in the past, go off. We have done this in the past, and so right now we are learning, last week we did one of the Getty songs, O Church Arise, and so we sang it every time before Bible time on the computer using the lyrics on the screen. Sometimes we will do it with hymns, and then we also sing other songs that we've already practiced in the past. So like our whole family knows O Victory in Jesus, and so we can sit in the car and sing that song without any hymn books. And so we try to make sure that the songs are good theology and things that the kids can use in the future if they're in a difficult spot, don't have a Bible but need a way to remember scriptures and truths that they've learned in the past. So we've learned a lot of songs through that. I don't know how many songs we've learned over the course of years doing that, but that's something that we do pretty much every day of the week. And then also with our school, and this is, I'm not going to get into how we do it, but we try to get in stretching and therapy time for Josiah for working with stretching his left hand and his left leg and getting more use of those. So that kind of adds to our school day. In the winter, we're hoping to incorporate more geography and history and science. We watch a lot of, not a lot, but when we watch shows, they are usually documentaries and like science related things or history related things. So the kids learn a lot through that, and a lot of the books we tend to pick up from the library. I pick a lot of nonfiction books that are history and science topics, but to actually have like a daily, we're going to sit down and do those things, will be in the winter. And after we have this baby and we get settled back into a schedule, I will add another video of what we will be doing at that time. But I just wanted to give you a quick video about what we do with the 4-year-old and the 7-year-old. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, so you can see we're hoping to get out more content in the near future. So enjoy your day.